Jeremiah 52, 1 through 34. Devotional focus verse. And it came to pass in the 37th year of the captivity of Jehoiachin, king of Judah, in the 12th month, in the 25th day of the month, that Evilmerodach, king of Babylon, in the first year of his reign, lifted up the head of Jehoiachin, king of Judah, and brought him forth out of prison, and spake kindly unto him, and set his throne above the throne of the kings that were with him in Babylon, and changed his prison garments. And he did continually eat bread before him all the days of his life. Jeremiah 52, 31 through 33. A simple act of kindness can have tremendous impact. I will never forget the kindnesses that were shown to my family some years ago when I was suffering with a debilitating illness that kept me away from my home for many months. One example in particular comes to mind. My children were primary school age, and the fun of finding costumes for the October school parties was part of our family tradition. In previous years, I had made the kids' costumes myself, delving into my stash of fabrics and relying on ingenuity to deck them out as princesses, storybook characters, animals, or various other things. But this year would be different. I was in the hospital. My husband was doing a masterful job of balancing visits to me with the responsibility of being both mom and dad to our kids. But how could I ask him to take on the project of finding dress-up costumes for 4 children? It was a small thing when one considered the big picture of my life-threatening illness, but it was something that weighed on my mind. One day after school, the kids bounced in to see me with an exciting announcement. One of the other young mothers in the church had offered to take all of them shopping for costumes. Their delight at this completely unexpected kindness was obvious, but it didn't match the quiet delight in my heart that someone had thought about that particular need and had stepped in to meet it. In our focus verses, we read of a kindness done for Jehoiachin, king of Judah, who had spent 37 difficult years in captivity in Babylon as a consequence of his evil reign. Evilmerodach, the new king of Babylon, showed mercy to Jehoiachin, and as an act of kindness allowed him to experience some measure of material comfort and personal dignity in the final days of his life. Today, consider those people whose lives touch yours. Is there a way you could show concern and care for someone in your circle of acquaintances? Ask God for a heart that is alert to opportunities to show kindness. You never know just how much that will mean to the recipient. Background information. In Jeremiah 52, details of the fall of Jerusalem are cataloged again. This chapter is a historical postscript to the prophecy of Jeremiah, most likely not written by the prophet himself. Jeremiah 51 ends with the words, "Thus far are the words of Jeremiah." Some historians believe it may have been written by Ezra after the return from captivity. Almost the same historical postscript can be found at the end of 2 Kings. See 2 Kings 24:18 through 25:30. Much of what is recounted in verses 1 through 12 was also related in Jeremiah 39, 1 through 18. The postscript was likely added to demonstrate that the prophecy of Jeremiah was fulfilled in all of its detail. Because of his refusal to obey God's instruction, King Zedekiah was physically blinded by order of the Chaldean king. Then he was bound with chains, taken to Babylon, and imprisoned for life. The temple of God was destroyed by fire. For the Jews, this was a great historical calamity, not matched again until the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD. The king's house and the houses of the city were also burned. 3 deportations of the Jews are listed in verses 25 through 30. The first occurred in the 7th year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign. The second occurred in the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, the same time as the destruction of Jerusalem. And the third is only mentioned in this particular passage. The third deportation may have been a punishment for the assassination of Gedaliah. The majority of Jews remained in exile until King Cyrus allowed them to return in 538 BC. Verses 31 through 34 describe the liberation of Jehoiachin by Evilmerodach, the son of Nebuchadnezzar. The reference to a continual diet given him of the king of Babylon meant that he received some sort of government pension. Cuneiform tablets discovered in archaeological excavations in the area of Babylon reference Evilmerodach's liberation of Jehoiachin. Conclusion. Opportunities to show kindness exist for each one of us. Let's purpose to reach out to others in caring concern whenever we can.
Chapter 52. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. And he did that which was evil in the eyes of the Lord, according to all that Jehoiakim had done. For through the anger of the Lord it came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah, till he had cast them out from his presence, that Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadrezzar king of Babylon came, he and all his army, against Jerusalem, and pitched against it, and built forts against it round about. So the city was besieged unto the 11th year of King Zedekiah. And in the 4th month, in the 9th day of the month, the famine was sore in the city, so that there was no bread for the people of the land. Then the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled, and went forth out of the city by night by the way of the gate between the two walls, which was by the king's garden. Now the Chaldeans were by the city round about, and they went by the way of the plain. But the army of the Chaldeans pursued after the king, and overtook Zedekiah in the plains of Jericho, and all his army was scattered from him. Then they took the king and carried him up unto the king of Babylon to Riblah in the land of Hamath, where he gave judgment upon him. And the king of Babylon slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes. He slew also the princes of Judah in Riblah. Then he put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and the king of Babylon bound him in chains, and carried him to Babylon, and put him in prison till the day of his death. Now in the 5th month, in the 10th day of the month, which was the 19th year of Nebuchadrezzar king of Babylon, came Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, which served the king of Babylon, into Jerusalem, and burned the house of the Lord and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem, and all the houses of the great men burned he with fire. And all the army of the Chaldeans that were with the captain of the guard brake down all the walls of Jerusalem round about. Then Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive certain of the poor of the people, and the residue of the people that remained in the city, and those that fell away, that fell to the king of Babylon, and the rest of the multitude. But Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, left certain of the poor of the land for vine-dressers and for husbandmen. Also the pillars of brass that were in the house of the Lord, and the bases and the brazen sea that was in the house of the Lord, the Chaldeans brake, and carried all the brass of them to Babylon. The cauldrons also, and the shovels, and the snuffers, and the bowls, and the spoons, and all the vessels of brass wherewith they ministered, took they away. And the basins, and the firepans, and the bowls, and the cauldrons, and the candlesticks, and the spoons, and the cups, that which was of gold, in gold, and that which was of silver, in silver, took the captain of the guard away. The 2 pillars, 1 sea, and 12 brazen bulls that were under the bases, which King Solomon had made in the house of the Lord, the brass of all these vessels was without weight. And concerning the pillars, the height of 1 pillar was 18 cubits, and a fillet of 12 cubits did compass it, and the thickness thereof was 4 fingers, it was hollow. And a chapiter of brass was upon it, and the height of 1 chapiter was 5 cubits, with network and pomegranates upon the chapiters round about, all of brass. The second pillar also and the pomegranates were like unto these. And there were 96 pomegranates on a side, and all the pomegranates upon the network were 100 round about. And the captain of the guard took Sariah the chief priest, and Zephaniah the second priest, and the 3 keepers of the door. He took also out of the city an eunuch, which had the charge of the men of war, and 7 men of them that were near the king's person, which were found in the city, and the principal scribe of the host, who mustered the people of the land, and 60 men of the people of the land that were found in the midst of the city. So Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, took them, and brought them to the king of Babylon, to Riblah. And the king of Babylon smote them, and put them to death in Riblah in the land of Hamath. Thus Judah was carried away captive out of his own land. This is the people whom Nebuchadrezzar carried away captive. In the 7th year, 3,000 Jews, and 23. In the 18th year of Nebuchadrezzar, he carried away captive from Jerusalem 832 persons. In the 23rd year of Nebuchadrezzar, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive of the Jews 745 persons. All the persons were 4,600. And it came to pass in the 37th year of the captivity of Jehoiachin, king of Judah, in the 12th month, in the 25th day of the month, that Evilmerodach, king of Babylon, in the 1st year of his reign, lifted up the head of Jehoiachin, king of Judah, and brought him forth out of prison, and spake kindly unto him, and set his throne above the throne of the kings that were with him in Babylon, and changed his prison garments. And he did continually eat bread before him all the days of his life. And for his diet there was a continual diet given him of the king of Babylon, every day a portion until the day of his death, all the days of his life.